Welcome back to episode 367 of the Guide and Guns podcast. I'm your host, Troy.
And I'm your other host, Doug.
We use this podcast to talk about guide guns and the responsible Christian gun owners' interest. On this week's show, we'll be talking about discussing the price of liberty. Liberty is something that we tout a lot, but do we really have what it takes to defend liberty? Because liberty is not free, you know.
It is not.
It's not free. It is available, but there is a cost to it. And my computer has given me all kinds of fits. Sorry for the late start, people, but we were having lots of technical difficulties. First time I fired up this studio since going to Florida. Uh, First time I've started this studio since a year and a half ago. Actually, I ran the studio on my other laptop when I was in Florida, and we're just a little bit discombobulated here. And Doug was rushing in from a ball game, and my computer said it needed to update everything and lost all the drivers. And man, it was just nuts. I thought I had everything set up, but
Mine was off too. And mine was doing the same thing, running updates. And it was like, man, come on.
I know it's crazy. Every time you turn on a computer now, it takes 10 minutes to do some kind of new update. First of all, we want to thank our bandwidth sponsor, Farms Radio Network. If you've not checked out shows over the Farms Radio Network, please do. There are a bunch over there. You need to give them a listen and let them know that we sent it you over there. And we are very thankful for them hosting that. Also, Patriot Patch Company. I've not received any money from them lately, but they paid me a lot longer than they should have before, and we're just going to keep honoring that commitment they had to us to commit to sponsoring them. They helped us make this this Guide and Guns patch I've got on my hat here. Got a few of those left. I need to get some more in order. I think I mentioned that like 5 times before. I'm really procrastinating apparently. But we'll thank those guys and appreciate their support and all that they do to keep us on the air. This week's Guide and Gun activities. What you been up to, Doug?
Man, I've been doing nothing but working. That's what I've been doing. Me and Wendy did get to well, we haven't done a show in a couple weeks, so
In
I guess
4 weeks.
has it been? Nah, it hasn't been that long, has it?
4 weeks, yeah.
Oh, well, 3 weeks ago, I guess now we were. I got to take a couple days off. I had to take a couple days, man. I just couldn't. I couldn't take it no more. I had to get a break for just a bit. So me and Wendy ran down to Florida, spent a few days down there. Very relaxing,
Good.
non-stressful. But she was sick the whole time we were there. And then since we got back, I've had it. So you can probably hear it
Yep.
because I know I can. But we had a good time. It was fun. I've been doing soccer games and softball games after work when I could, if I didn't work too late. And I got my truck back out of the shop after the lady rearranged the
Hooray.
side for me. So it was a good day.
I've got all kinds of problems. My camera, my screen, everything's out of whack. I don't know what's going on. So that covers your stuff.
It does. I ain't been doing nothing but work, man. That's all I've done.
Yeah. It's been interesting. I know you've been covered up, and got a bunch of guys over here in the comments section. Looks like Bill, Jim. Who else is in there? Jennifer and Jennifer. Big
And
deal.
I'll take all the prayers I can get.
Doug's been onslaught. I've reached out. He says, "Man, I just can't. I just can't. I'm just wore out." And whenever he wasn't wore out, I had something going on. It seemed like, well, we apologize. We're trying to get back to a regular schedule. We'll eventually work it out. I've got 2 kids in sports. They played basketball. 2 grandkids in sports. They played basketball all winter, and now they're into track. And my granddaughter's playing travel ball, so every weekend she's in a different city somewhere playing. But on the God side, of course, Bible reading, church security. Since I've been back, I've done served twice, so getting back in the swing of things. Uh, Guns. I did pick up a Ruger Scout rifle since the last time we talked.
Oh
Since
yeah.
we had a show way back when, I came back and I saw it in the cabinet. I'm like, I need to put a scope on that. So I ordered a scope and rings for that, and they came in. So I'll be doing that soon on the gun side. Of course, daily carry, and then family. Everybody is in Virginia right now. I was supposed to be in Virginia, but I injured my back on Wednesday and could barely walk. I mean, my low back is like it was when I was 15. Got speared in the back in football. I just my whole lower part of my back and all down the back of my legs was so tight I could barely walk. And I don't know what I did. I got old, I guess, but
You wasn't toting ham radio equipment up the stairs, was you?
no more than normal. You know, it's just just the normal stuff. But you know, the older I get, the easier I find injuries. But so I was supposed to leave out with them Thursday morning, and I went to chiropractor. He cracked and popped, and I felt a little bit better. But man, I started hurting again Wednesday night, and I could hardly. I was back the same shape Thursday morning. We were supposed to head out, and I just told them I said I can't go. So they went on without me. They went to Liberty. My two daughters and my youngest son all went, and my wife went, and they toured campus. Gunner toured the engineering program, and Daphne toured music and acting theater, I guess it is. And then Audrey, of course, is already signed up to start this fall at Liberty. She'll be starting as a junior. She did Liberty on Law in the first 2 years, saved a little bit of money. And so she's going, she went into the program that she's looking to go into, and she's just really excited. I talked to them just a little while ago. They're all doing well, and they'll be heading back tomorrow. But there was no way I could ride in that car for 8 hours over there. And
They're all three going to be going to Liberty.
I don't know. I don't think Gunner is interested in their engineering program. He's looking for more of electrical engineering, and they're more of just mechanical engineering
Hmm.
kind of a program. He didn't feel he really loved the campus, loved everything about it, loved convocation where they have speakers come in and do presentation, speech, and stuff like that. They've had a lot of cool people there come speak at Liberty. But I think it's every Friday they have a convocation and they all get together, and I think it's a requirement that they all attend. On the farm side, we got all the corn and soybeans planted, and praise the Lord, we just started getting rain. Right before it came down here, it started raining, and that's an answer to prayer for all the farmers around here. It's been so dry.
It's dry here, man.
Yeah,
Bad.
yeah, it started raining. I hope it rains until Sunday, but I think it's supposed to rain most of the day tomorrow. We really need the rain. Our first baby calf has been born, and a little
Right.
female, little heifer, and it was the heifer's first calf, so she's a cow now, and she's got a calf. We got another one probably due to drop here in the next couple of weeks. And alfalfa, we replanted. We killed off the old because I think we got 8 years out of the last plant, which is unusual. You usually get 5 to 7.
Hmm.
We got 8 years out of it, and then it was too far gone. We had to restart. So we got all the alfalfa fields replanted. So they were happy to get the rain. You could just hear the farm just praising the Lord for the rain because everything around here is wanting water. But ham side heading to Dayton Ham Convention in a couple of weeks, middle of May. We'll have a booth set up for the Central Kentucky Amateur Radio Club. I'm vice president there, and we'll be selling raffle tickets for Henry Rifle. So if you're a ham radio guy and you're somewhere around the Dayton area, Xenia, Ohio is where it's actually at now. Come on by and see us. We're up in the flea market area. We'll be up towards the top in the circle, the horse track circle. If y'all ever been there, you know what I'm talking about. Uh,
Is that the raffle I got the tickets for last time? Or
yep. That was
okay, cool.
last year's. This is another year,
Oh, New Year.
new raffle. Yep.
So
Last
I didn't win last year.
no, you didn't win last year. No, unfortunately, but I didn't win either. I didn't buy any tickets last year because I won the year before. I'm like, I'm not going to buy any tickets if people think it's rigged. But I bought a lot of tickets the year before, trying to help the club. But the shop is done. I've got everything finished in it. said we're all done, load up their tools, and I pull my truck back in there, and it's ready to set up the ham room. I've got to get a desk up there. I'm moving some of my stuff from the dungeon down here. The it's I've got my reloading bench. I'm taking over there. I've got my gunsmithing tools, all that stuff. I'm taking up there. I'm taking all my radio gear except for one. I might leave one radio here because I've got an antenna here on the side of the house. It runs 2 meters. I got J pole over there, so I'll probably leave that hooked up for the fusion. But I'm talking too much ham radio because most people here don't care anything about ham radio. But it's one of my hobbies since I retired, and I enjoy it. I enjoy the camera, hanging out with the other ham guys and a bunch of old farts like me.
It's
Most of them are
fun.
older than me, and talk to people. There was a guy from Japan I wanted to talk to. He was calling in on the local repeater here just a while ago. Ham radio operator links up to our repeater from Japan through Echo Link or All Star, one or the other, and talks around here. But I didn't have time to grab it before I had to get down here. See, that's about all. Well, I haven't told anybody. I bought another Humvee.
I was going to say you left
Uh,
one out.
yeah, I bought a newer M1165. It's the 4-speed turbo, so it goes interstate speeds. It don't like it. I mean, it can do it, and it just scares me a little bit. It's like riding on the edge of was it Occam's razor? Just a little bit, one way or the other, you could really hurt yourself. But it'll cruise down the road. I mean, it gets up and gets going. It has air conditioning, hard top, hard doors, and the wife likes it because it's got air conditioning. But it's she don't like it because it's harder to get into than the old one because it sits higher. It sits probably 6 inches taller than the old one, and I got a guy that wants to buy the old one, so I've got a little bit of work to do on it before I sell it. And I don't know. I might end up keeping the old one and selling the new one. I don't know. I'm driving the new one, see if I'm like it enough to keep it. If not, I'll sell it for a profit because I bought it pretty reasonable.
I would
But
like it just for the air conditioning.
yeah, yeah, I bought it in Miami. So when we were down in Florida, I was looking at one that was up towards Daytona, and it had the turret, it had the slant back, it had the hard top, of course, but it had soft doors. So I already had another set of hard doors here that I was going to put on it, but I couldn't get the guy to call me back. I called and texted, and he still had it up for sale. I'm like, man, I want to come see it, and never would reply back to me. And then popped up like a week later, they had it pending. And I said, let me put a backup offer in case that guy doesn't buy it. And still no response. I don't know what the deal was. I guess God didn't want me to have that one. But
Uh,
then about 2 weeks later, or 3 weeks later, I guess, I found this one down in Miami. And it had hard doors, hard top, AC working, didn't have the turret, uh, and didn't have a slant back. It's got a pickup bed rear end on it. But it was cheaper, and I ended up buying it, and then was trying to get shipped home, and could not find. I got quotes before I bought it to see how much it cost me, and I got quotes from 850 to 950 to take it back to Kentucky. They're gonna put on a car carrier or whatever and take it back. And after I bought it, I said, okay, I need somebody to come pick it up. And 2, 3, 4 days go by and nobody. And the guy says, we can't find anybody. I keep saying, man, I gotta have somebody. I was even calling people back here in Kentucky, farmers, and said, hey, you come in Florida to deliver hay or anything soon, and see if they could pick it up. Nobody was coming this way. Called a couple of other places, called some hot shots. The cheapest quote I got after I bought this thing was $5,500 to haul it back to Kentucky. And I was like, I can buy a trailer for $5,500 and haul it back myself. I have my truck down there.
you got the truck.
I got the truck, and so I ended up buying a trailer because I could not find anybody that wanted to charge me as much it was costing me for a trailer. So I bought a deck over trailer, a really nice one, and for less than or for around the price of the hauling fee to haul it back. Hooked it up, and dropped it off at a friend's house and left it there for a night while I finished packing up. And then I loaded it up and hooked up that thing and drove her home. Didn't have any trouble except for almost getting wiped out by a Dodge Ram that was hauling too much weight in a dump trailer that ended up jackknifing in front of me and that took me out. That was a harrowing experience. It sort of took about a year or two off my life. Managed to get around that. Nothing was damaged. Didn't hit the gas. By God's grace, there was an angel pushing that truck out of the way, so I got around him and didn't run into him.
And got
Uh,
to come through and spend the night in Georgia.
yeah, got to see Doug. Doug got to see the Hummer on the
I
trailer.
trailer.
he didn't get he didn't get to ride it because I had her strapped down. I didn't want.
We wasn't
Well,
going to trap it.
yeah, that was just a big hassle, and you had to get to work. So, but no, you didn't have to get to work. Well, it was Saturday, wasn't it?
Uh, yeah, it was Saturday you left
I
out, I
guess I
think.
could have unstrapped it. You could have drove it around. Didn't
Ah,
think about it. But next time you're up here in Kentucky, we'll let you drive her around, and try it out.
and maybe you'll take it down to Florida with you on the next trip.
No,
It's
no.
got, it's got air conditioning.
Yeah, it's just I like driving, but I haven't went over it thoroughly. I checked the oil, I checked the coolant, checked all of the transmission, but I haven't checked the portal hubs because each one of the portal hubs has gear oil in them. You have to check them. I found a couple leaks. I don't know if it's a bearing leak out of the portal, or I don't know if it's. I'm trying to figure out where it's at. So my shop just got done. So as soon as I can, I'm rolling it in there, putting it up on jacks, going underneath there, and checking all the seals, make sure everything's good to go on it. I've drove it to Hodgenville a few times, drove it to Magnolia, drove it around here around the farm and stuff.
I saw
Drives,
the videos.
yeah, drives like a dream. I mean, it drives really good. It's different. I mean, what I liked about the old Humvee is that it, I had the doors off and just it's like you just hop in it and go. It's no frills. It's slow. It's just beastly. And just the wind blowing through your hair and stuff like that. Well, what hair I got left, but it's just fun. And so I don't know. I don't know if I like being inside of a box as opposed to having everything sort of open. Now I can take the doors off this one. The hard doors slip off. I can take them off just like a Jeep door. I haven't done that yet because I just haven't taken the time. But I just it might be the same. I don't know. But I don't have a radio in there yet, so I've got a. It didn't have a radio desk, so I've ordered a radio desk. It's going to take a week to get in. Found that on eBay to put in it, and then I'm trying to decide what radios to put in. Um, I'm probably not going to go back with FTM 300 that I've got in the older one, but I'm thinking about doing a all-in-one radio. It does HF and 2 meter 440 all-in-one radio. I think the 7100 does that. Um, so I don't know. I'll take my time and figure that out. But I got too many irons in the fire at the
It,
moment.
it's way nicer than anything I've ever rode in.
Is it?
Yeah, well, you got to consider where I rode in them at.
This was a Marine one.
Yeah,
It's got Marine tags all over it. So I think it came out of Georgia somewhere. Is where the guy from Miami got it from.
yeah.
But but got it tagged. It took forever to get the title figured out with the government bureaucrats. I goes, that's enough about Humvees. Everybody's tired of that. What are you carrying tonight? I got the X920, XR920.
I got the Sig 365. Had it on me
Good deal.
with the Romeo Zero on it, and
Yep.
I ain't got anything on me right at the moment because I literally I had like 5 minutes from the time I walked in the door to get on the computer.
Yeah.
I was pushing my luck. Hey,
Well, it's
I
probably
did
good. I
do.
didn't realize it's going to take so long to get everything fired up.
I know. Hey, I did get to do something really cool today though.
All right.
I had a buddy of mine. my buddy Joel. Um, he turned. Well, he had. Well, let's just put it this way. He had his birthday yesterday, and we usually take off and go golfing for his on his birthday. But this year, he has been playing in a a veterans golf league,
Hmm.
and he's been telling me about it. I was like, "What? Sounds kind of cool." He said, "Well," he said, "the day after my birthday, I'm playing Houston Lake with another buddy of ours that we hunt and stuff with, that's also military vet, and so they arranged it and they've had it on the books for me to play with them, and I haven't played, dude, 6 or 7 months probably. It seemed like it's been forever, but they invited me to come play with them today in the veterans tournament. It's really cool. It's you got to be a veteran or you have to be related to a veteran, like a son or a brother could join the league. But we had a lot of fun. But buddy, I'm telling you what, I'm paying for it right now.
You feeling today?
Oh my knees, man.
Oh gosh.
I did that this afternoon and then went to the soccer game and then came home. So um, the old knees are screaming today.
Yeah, I haven't played golf since I retired. I had to play golf for sales for so many years. It was just sort of expected that you take clients out and play golf with them and
Yep.
take them to the golf course and buy them lunch and pay for their fees and all that stuff. And we had a few golf tournaments at the with work. A lot of the people at work play golf. We had our own tournament and would invite our vendors and stuff in. Uh, Actually, it made money for the company because we had so many sponsors that
Oh
sponsored
yeah.
each hole and stuff, and so the company actually made money. It wasn't the goal, but it just ended up happening that way. But excuse me, I mean to cough for everybody's ear. Let me do it again. A little dusty down here in the dungeon, but yeah, I've still got my golf club somewhere over there and a pile of stuff from my office I never have unpacked from when I retired 10 years ago. 11, 12 years ago. Gosh, it's been 12 years since I retired. I
I,
don't feel like it's been that long.
I felt like I was playing fairly well on the front side today. I had like two pars in a row, and then the other Doug would come out and just blow it.
Hack it off into the trees,
Oh, oh man, or put one in the drink. Yeah,
slice it, or drop it in water.
I only lost two today, so I didn't do too bad.
That's not bad. It's better than I do. I could drive pretty good and I could putt pretty good, but the middle game, man, that's what messed me up. It was always that, going to the woods trying to.
Yeah,
Once I got it on the green, I was okay. But and I could drive it a long ways. It might be a long ways in the wrong direction, but I could drive it a long ways.
I have determined, and now I'm 60, so I get to hit from the gold tees, which
Oh,
I'll take it. So it's a little closer.
is
So,
that the women's tee?
huh?
Is that the women's tee?
Nope, they hit from the reds,
Hmm.
and there's actually one other one. There's green between the gold and the reds, so I can't hit from the greens. Most time I've always played from the blue mark or tips, but I, I hit the ball well today. I can't complain too bad,
Good deal.
and I wouldn't know how to play if I wasn't in the woods at some point.
Yeah, you feel lost.
Trick shots, got to get around the trees and or
Yeah,
bank shot or something. But it was fun. It was a good time. Lot of old veterans out there that were kicking my butt for sure. I mean,
making excuses.
they get out there. They get out there, and that's what they do. They go golf.
Yeah, there's a couple guys in the club that go golfing all the time. Oh, it looks like I missed a bunch of comments here. Brian's in the chat.
He is.
There he is.
I think he said fake book was giving him a hard time, so he jumped over on YouTube. So I got him over here now.
Oh, good deal.
Fake book was giving me a hard time too, so I just
I'm catching up to all the comments. We have a joke tonight.
I I do not have a joke. I could not. I could not find one and didn't have enough time to get one.
I should have looked one up. I was busy, then I got on that phone call and I looked up and it was like, we are way down the road. Uh, there's
I,
no time to do it.
I did get on this day in history, though.
All right, go ahead with that one.
On this day in history, in 1863, the Union Army issues General Order Number 100, which provided a code of conduct for federal soldiers and officers when dealing with Confederate prisoners and civilians. The code was borrowed by many European nations, and its influence can be seen on the Geneva Convention. I thought that was kind of cool
Hmm, cool.
because I spent 20 years living by that code of conduct. What are you, what are you throwing in cannon fire?
I'm finding my sound effects over here. The computer is completely different than my Apple on the display and stuff.
Uh,
It's like humongously large. I can barely see us, but there's like a whole. I need like an engineer over here running all this stuff on the side, comment section, and all that stuff.
well, that's what Gunner's going to be for long, right?
He's gonna be an electrical engineer. He's not gonna be a sound engineer. Of course, he does sound for the church. I'm
Hey,
sure. I'm sure he could do it, but he's too busy for me.
dude, them engineers, I've done learned you just got to get an engineering degree in something, and
Yeah,
then you take it to do whatever you want to do.
yeah. That's the way
Like,
it is with most college degrees. You just get a degree that gets you in the door,
yeah,
and you can go where you want to once you get that. Yeah. Oh, you got bachelors or you got masters or whatever. So, but that's sort of like the price of entry to get some kind of a good paying job. Uh,
it is.
and Daphne was just passed over and over again for people with degrees, but she was running the whole plant up there in Amazon. They wouldn't let her do the job, let her have the title to the job she was doing every night.
Hey, if you had the opportunity to go to college and got your degree, good on you.
Yeah,
It was not for me, and I graduated from the School of Hard Knocks. So
yeah,
I tried the college thing. I did Liberty for a year online.
yeah. I got my degree, but it took me like 7 years because I worked the whole time. I worked all the time, took night classes, but finally got it. Took me forever. Let's see Bible verses tonight. We got a few. I'm just going to read some here. These are liberty related. Galatians 5:13. For you were called to freedom, brothers. Only do not use your freedom as an opportunity for the flesh, but through love serve one another. And so here we're talking about that as believers. We're talking to brothers here. So brothers will be brothers, believers who obtain freedom through Christ. So Christ did the sacrifice, paid for our sins. So we're no longer a slave to sin. We're free from our sin, and it doesn't have any power over us anymore unless we go back and start getting back into sin. Just because we have the grace that God has given us to forgive us of our sins doesn't mean that we can go ahead and do what we want to, live in the flesh. We are supposed to live in the spirit. So as being freed from our bonds as bonds to slavery, we should serve and love one another and help build each other up in the body of Christ. And then Galatians 5:1, for freedom Christ has set us free. Stand firm, therefore, and do not submit again to the yoke of slavery. So going back again to what I was saying, Christ has paid that price that got us out of the slavery of sin. Sin is a slave master. It will destroy your life. It will control every aspect of your life. It will ultimately take you to death. And if you don't come to know Jesus Christ, he'll take you to hell. So we have to remember that we do have freedom, but our freedom is to serve Christ. We're no longer serving the evil sin of our evil sins, but we're to serve Christ as showing our affection for what He's done for us to take that burden away. And then John 8:36. So if the Son sets you free, you will be free indeed. Again, God has paid for our sin to free us. And then 2 Corinthians 3:17, now the Lord is the Spirit, and where the Spirit of the Lord is, there is freedom. And so when people want to try to condemn you for things that you've done in the past before you were a believer, uh, that has no power over you anymore. Once you ask for forgiveness, ask God to be your Lord and Savior, you follow Him, you listen to His commands, you read the Word, you study, you're in the family of God. And once you're in the family of God, that old sin, although you may have to pay penalties for it, if it's something that was actually criminal or something that caused harm to others, you'll have to pay that to the world, right? But as far as your sin relationship with God, you no longer should feel convicted for that because you've asked for forgiveness and God has freed you to be able to do things. I went through a long period of my life that I was not wanting to serve because I didn't feel I was worthy to serve. I didn't feel that I felt people would judge me and people would not listen or not uh, accept what I had to say. I felt that was a bad example, which I was at the time I was committing the sin. But once God has forgiven you from that, that there's no condemnation from God. Now, people might condemn you, but you don't have to worry about what people do because people are only here for a short period of time, and you'll be in heaven with Jesus, right? So remember that sin will turn you into a slave, and the only way to get out of that servitude to sin is to turn away from it, turn to Jesus, ask forgiveness, let His grace cover your sins, and then serve Him because you're free from all that burden that you carry. Main topic tonight: liberty has a price, and what got me thinking about this is that I don't know if you've noticed, but as I'm scrolling through social media, which is not a good idea, there's lots of landmines there.
It is
But
not.
there is a purposeful agenda in social media across all platforms. Don't care which platform you pick, what your poison is. And it's trending to try to separate us by race, sex, choice of sexual preference, which we know is sin. Anything that it can separate you, that is the way the devil wants to destroy. It wants to destroy the family. It wants to destroy unity amongst your friends. It wants to destroy unity amongst the nation. Anytime that you're going to be under attack, they try to divide and conquer. Right, the old adage. You want to try to break up your enemy's ability to muster a fight. You want to create doubt in their minds. You want to create division amongst the ranks. You want to create animosity between the different people within those ranks. That's the devil's playground, man. And the more I notice social media, they feed you these videos that wants to get you angry about crime by certain ethnic groups. Uh, they want to get you upset about the pink haired purple people standing in the streets and blocking traffic and all that stuff. They want to try to get you angry and vitriol, bickering back and forth to each other. And there's a goal to that. That goal is to separate us as a nation, to try to divide us. And not just our nation, but all nations around the world are experiencing the same evil pervasiveness. And I'm to the point, I'm got to get away from social media. It is just such a corrupting influence that just continually wants to try to get us fighting amongst ourselves, getting arguing our short tempers, seeing the way people drive, people tearing each other's cars up for bumper stickers, or people. I saw somebody was destroying somebody's Tesla because he was driving a Tesla. Hey, Steve, good to see you in here, man.
What's up,
Been,
cousin?
been praying for you, praying hard for you, man. If you need anything, let us know. But Steve is need your all's prayers, Steve Sprouse. So y'all remember him, his prayers. Uh, but I just I'm when I think about our nation's founding, if you go back to 1770s, leading up to the American Revolution, there's a really great book that is talked about a lot, and it's Paul Revere's Ride by, I think it's David Fisher. Let me see what his name is here. It's been a while since. David Hackett Fisher wrote a book called Paul Revere's Ride. It talks about all the events leading up to the Revolutionary War. And this ties into liberty, so hang with me for a little bit. I get a little deep in the woods here, but we'll get out of it. But back in the 1770s, of course, everybody was British. This was a British colonies. So we weren't fighting the British. They were, we were fighting, we were, but I'm getting lost. But back in 1774, there were some attacks that happened where the redcoats were uh, uh, getting in fights with people due to taxes. They levied a bunch of taxes. They took away the citizens' rights to appeal to the crown. If you ever have the chance to go to Williamsburg, Virginia, go to the People's House there, where the one half of the building was for the crown representation of England and the king's representation to to the colonies, and the other was for the colonists to have representation, and they would meet together and they would parlay and they would talk about their grievances and discuss things. Well, it came to the point where they said we're not going to listen to you anymore, and that's where you get the taxation without representation uh, phrase comes from, because they weren't able to go to the crown or go to the representatives of the crown and air their grievances, right? And so what started then was that the crown's like, well, we're going to order that the troops that are stationed in people's towns and houses will start going and collecting their defensive abilities to defend themselves against the king. And so that sparked them, the battle at Freeman Green and all that. But there was a bunch of incursions where they would go into these towns just to take their powder and their cannons and their ball. And if you go to Williamsburg, it is a really good tour. Go to the armory. So there's an armory that was, all these towns had an armory. They had all these rifles in there, muskets back in those days. They had their cannons stored there. They had their shot stored in there. They had a gunpowder magazine room. All that stuff was for the protection of that community, right? So King George was sending his troops in to go start collecting this stuff so they wouldn't be able to put up a resistance. That's why we have the Second Amendment, boys.
Indeed.
Because they had that to the defense of their own nation, right? Their own colony. And I mean, they were still at times having Indian skirmishes with the French and Indians coming in the northern parts of the country. And so when Gage started sending these troops in to start collecting stuff, Paul Revere was one of the first ones that organized this. I'm trying to remember what it was called. After 1774, after the Intolerable Acts, the dissolution of the Massachusetts charter government, Gage was a royal governor commander. I'm just reading a little brief synopsis here. But there became the powder alarm. So the powder alarm is where you heard from Paul Revere's ride. Paul Revere ride. The redcoats are coming. The redcoats are coming. So he set up a system where he and a whole bunch of other guys, when they found out through people, loosely talking about, hey, we're going to go and raid Concord tomorrow, around the saloons or whatever. They had spies everywhere that would feed the information back to them, and they would put somebody on a rider and say, hey, and they'd go from town to town and go to that town and say, hey, they're coming tomorrow for your stuff. So you need to do something with it. And so they would take it out and they'd run a row of corn or whatever, and they would drop a cannon down in it, cover it up. They would take the cannonball and go hide it. They would take their powder and hide it off site. So when they got there, it was nothing for them to get. And they were continually trying, running into this, where they would go and there would be problems and stuff. But they had a network, right? They had a network of people that were spying, that were working together, that were, trying to logistically uh, Is that you dinging or me?
That was me. Sorry.
Okay. Uh, a whole bunch of guys that were working in this organization. And so the resistance was not very many people. We're talking about probably 15% of the population that were resistant to the tyrannical attitude of the king by imposing taxes, or not letting them have representation, ignoring their rights, making them house police, making them house military troops in their homes at their expense and feeding them and things like this. These are all things that were not tolerable by people, the colonists, or by most of them, or by most of the revolutionary people. And so that's what sort of struck the match, right? It was like one incursion after another incursion after another incursion until people said, all right, enough. Or enough people said enough. And they started organizing. If you look at our nation today, there are no leaders to lead a revolution that have a following, right? There are not enough people. Our back then they all met in the pubs, right? They all met in the bars, and they got together and talked, and they talked about their grievances amongst one another. And you had people that had fought the Indians and the French and Indians. They fought in the British, for England back in the day, uh, talking about these things. And so, and you had intellectuals. You had a lot of guys that were studying what kind of form of government they prefer to have instead of a monarchy over them, that they would rather have their own self government, since the governor or government king was not looking for, not taking care of their needs, not addressing their issues, taxing them and putting regulations or restrictions on them, then trying to make them defenseless. So these guys got together in all these little communities and started forming out a plan. And what would we do? And how would it be done? And you had spies back then. So if you were talking against the crown, I mean, that was capital offense. They would kill you. So I don't know that we have people that are backbone. I know there's a lot of ex-military guys out there that would, fight tooth and nail, defend their family, their community. Not saying that. I don't know that we have the leadership or the ability to communicate anymore if we were to have to defend from a tyrannical government, because the AI and the cyber, everything's studying you, your phone's telling everywhere you go, telling you whoever you're around, collects all the people you talk to, maps out everywhere you go every day, what you look at, what your messages say. They take all that stuff, and that's why they're building all these big data centers, and they've got these AI computers going through and looking for words and terms and phrases. And I'm sure this
Yep.
podcast will get flagged big time because anything that goes against the authority is going to get you flagged. And my my motto was always, until they come to my house and threaten my children and family, my powder stays capped and ready, waiting to go. But do I really? Am I really going to be able to fight against the weapons of war that we're dealing with now? The drones, the attack helicopters, the uh, military gear that these guys have got. Will our military follow orders and go after American citizens? I don't know. I just, it's a different world, man. It's such a different time. But you need to be thinking on these terms. Do we have leaders? Do we have a way of communicating? Do we even communicate with anyone anymore? Uh, the closest communication I get is I go to this. From time to time, I go up to this cigar place there in E-Town, and we sit up there and talk about politics and talk about things and discuss things and have ideas. It's not the best place to meet, but it's some place you can meet. We meet at church and we have worship there, but we don't really discuss anything, the political aspect of things or the way the economy is going. We have men's prayer group. We get a little bit into that there, but not much. It's only an hour or two. Um, but we don't have these community meeting houses, right? We don't have these places where you go and sit and talk about things and have a common bond anymore. I guess the most common bond you have anymore is like you listen to podcasts, but it's a one way street for the most part. I mean, you guys can comment from time to time, but we've lost touch with our neighbors. I mean, I try to talk to my neighbors as often as I can, check on them, see how they're doing. But it's just light talk. It's medical issue or need help with a mower or need something. It's not really sitting down and discussing things like these guys did back in the day. So there's no bonds between anybody. You don't know whose people's allegiances are. Are they supportive of these things that would allow people to come take your property without any any right to do so? And so this is all sort of combined together. It's a big mix up here, but I'm trying to express what my concerns are when I see that social media controls so much of how people relate to each other. It will keep certain people from seeing certain of your posts, and then you'll see certain people's posts. And I noticed that on the guide and gun side, if I'm looking over here on the guide and gun side, everything that's being fed on the guide and gun side is Democratic stuff. I mean, every single thing is a Democratic senator, a Democratic representative, uh, is some kind of leftist people that are
Man,
just forced on this that part of the platform. And I'm like, why is it feeding all this stuff to me, other than to try to make me angry, um, other than to try to upset us and make us mad or worry or concerned or make us think that we're a minority, which I know we're not. But there is a price for freedom, and I don't know that modern men in America, outside of a few, uh, are equipped to deal with it because it's an emotional thing. When you're under attack, when you're under stress, um, being able to defend yourself. At my age, I know that my heart rate's going to go up, and I'll be good for about a minute or two, and then I'm going to wane, and then that adrenaline rush is going to hit, and I'm going to get the shakes because in doing these gun drills and stuff like that. I mean, you can function fine on a flat range and you're not having to move, but you run around a
right.
pothole ground and trying to whip out a gun, hit target on the move. It's not as easy as it was 20 years ago. And the younger generation, they just weren't raised like us. We were just Doug and I. We were just feral animals, man. We just went everywhere.
We
we we went outside in the morning. And we come back in the evening in the dark. Sometimes they'd have to holler for us or call people's houses to find out where we were at. But I just don't know that this younger generation has the skill set
they
or the
don't. I
or
can
the
tell you they don't.
or the commitment or the depth of dealing with issues. I know that they would balk at that, but seriously, it's just the things that you have to endure in life. And be able to deal with the stress. And I think a whole lot of this social media is just to keep you hyper stressed up all the time, keep you angry, keep you not trusting your neighbor, not trusting people around you, uh, closed in, like stay in your house. I know that I go somewhere all the time, and the wife. I'm not picking on my wife. I'm just saying that she'd rather just go see her mom or go see a close friend or something. But as far as getting out and talking to people in the community, we've just been closed off. There's just not any community events, and wife and I were looking at a place over in here local, maybe buy and set up some kind of community type of thing where people get together and meet and trying to find a way to actually make it profitable to be able to afford the building and lights and all that stuff and keep the lights on, pay the taxes and pay the utilities. And we were searching for different things. We went over so many different business models to try to figure out something, but at the end of the day, I'm like, dude, I'm knocking on 60 in a couple months here. just like you. I'm like, do I have the energy to start another business? I mean, the rental properties and the farm's more than I can bear as it is.
You know, what you're saying, is true. Also,
Yeah,
I try to teach my grandkids and my girls know because they can do a lot of stuff because they had me as a dad. You know,
yeah,
I I enjoy making jelly. See what I can make. The girls were over, one night, and I put heavy whipped cream in a mason jar and let them sit there and shake it until they made butter.
yeah.
And they thought it was just the coolest thing in the world. You know,
Mhm.
we went fishing. I don't know, 3 or 4 weeks ago, and caught a few fish in Taylor and Dillon's little lake that they live on now. And I took my boat up there and we caught a few fish and come back. And my granddaughter goes, she goes, "What are you going to do with them, Papa?" I said, "We're going to clean them. You go eat them." And she said, "You can't eat those." I said, "Why can't you?" She said, "Well, they didn't come from the store." I said, "That's going to make them even better." I said, "It'll be the best fish you've ever had." And she sat there and watched me clean clean fish, which hadn't really seen done.
Yeah.
And I let Taylor and Dylan have them. They cooked them for supper that night. And Riley called me to tell me that that was the best fish she'd ever ate. I was like, I know, right?
Yeah. I mean, I've done all I can for to try to get my kids prepared, but until they have those stressors, I
Oh
know
yeah,
when my son did the I mean, guy's black belt. That was the most stress I'd seen him under because he had to fight two instructors at the same time, and man, they were wailing on him. And he had to defend himself and protect himself and try to get in all his licks he could get. But before that, they had him doing push-ups. Oh, they had him run. He had to run 2 miles that morning. Gave him an hour break. Come back. Had to do all of his moves. Show him that he could do all of the moves. Wrote, they'd say, do this move, do that move, do this move, and he'd have to perform all those. Then he had to do as many push-ups. I think they expected him to do 100 push-ups, and they ended up making him do like 130 push-ups straight. He did nonstop, guys, 130 push-ups, and then he had to fight two grown men, and he at the time he was 14,
who is
13.
this? Gunner?
Yeah,
Oh, nice.
and had to fight two grown men. Now that's the kind of stress that builds endurance. That's the kind of thing that will help them push past the fear, right? Make them defend. And I've put him through all kinds of gun courses, pistol courses, carabine, shotgun courses. He's been through
Yep.
medical training and all that. The girls, I got them coming up. They're wanting to do a pistol class, and so I've talked to a couple female instructors I know. I'll see if we can get them sked up. Maybe do the daughter-in-law, the wife, the two daughters, and see if there's any other women around. Try to have 6 or 7 together because my daughters are saying, "Man, I need a gun," because they recognize the threat. I mean, they've got guns, but they want to know how to work a gun, use a gun. I show them, but you know how it is when you're trying to teach your kids. Sometimes they listen, but they don't listen to everything.
Right.
Whereas you can have somebody else teach the same exact course, and they'll pick up so much more because they'll they'll listen to them. I don't know how else to say
They're
it.
paying attention.
Right, but our children these days are just blown from one way to the other. There are so many influences we didn't have to deal with. I mean, probably the worst influences on us was like pornography magazines in drugstores or wherever they were selling them back in the day. Uh, I was or going to see an R movie. I mean, but now just pick up the phone, they can see the most disgusting, violent, evil garbage that ever was created on the earth in a couple of clicks.
Well,
Uh,
that's part of the problem too with social media and stuff.
yeah,
The kids kids don't interact with people like we used to.
yeah,
You know, we I'd come over to your house, you come over to my house, we go shoot stuff, we go hunting, we go do whatever, and we were always out doing something.
And we
Kids,
had guns. I mean, as
I
teenagers,
know.
I think from the time I was 12, I had a pistol most of the time on me. I had a rifle since the time I was 6. It's just, but we were just raised different. And I raised my kids the best I could. I mean, they know how to handle firearms, they know how to be safe with them, they know how to use them. They're really good shots. But I don't know how to introduce that mindset that you just have to have in the world we live in, where violence is just so prevalent, and and lawlessness is just let go. I mean, the things that people get away with now that
Oh
we've
yeah,
never gotten away with. I mean, never gotten away with before. Uh, it's just it's a tinderbox, and I'm really concerned for my children, my grandchildren especially. Um, but but do we have? It's a question that you need to take to heart. Do we have what it takes if we had to be forced to defend our families, our community against a just ever growing tyranny and encroachment? Because you see these people constantly be Supreme Court rule against them, rule against them. They just keep on doing it. It's like, well, we're going to do it till you stop us. It's just like a lawsuit. I mean, you can be in the right, but if you don't have enough money to fight it all the way through the Supreme Court, and then trying to collect on it, it doesn't matter if you're right. What
right,
matters is if how long are you and how much are you willing to invest to defend it? How much are you willing to put in to try to defend what is right? And I mean, our founding fathers, most of those guys got killed, taken prisoner, lost their farms, lost their businesses, lost families. Uh, they swore, to take and that they were going to, start this new country, and it was a death sentence if they lost. Every one of those guys that signed the Declaration of Independence, that was a death sentence. And when they said, that they were willing to sacrifice even their honor to defend this nation, to create this nation, to stand out. And I don't see, I mean, I see a lot of angry people. I don't see anybody that has resolve anymore. It's just been beaten out of people. It's been, and I think a lot of us are just cynical. I myself find myself cynical about, yeah, well, they're breaking another part of the Constitution.
yep,
I know Steve's got what it takes to fight.
yeah, he does.
Yep, he's a fighter. But and I know a lot of great guys that are fighters. But I'm saying, will any of them follow somebody? Do they trust a leader enough to follow? Because you gotta have leaders, man. We just don't have leaders. Our politicians are not leaders. They are not leaders. They're there for the money and the investments and things like that. We have a couple people that are principled, but by and large, we don't have. We need good, strong guys that were in the military, have that have a good understanding of history, that have a good understanding of military tactics that people would follow. But you're never going to see them. They're going to get wiped off of the internet. They're going to get wiped off of any kind of platform because they know that that's a threat to them being able to take us. And I don't think we can do that in a nationwide setting. It's going to have to be local. And so, you know, other than a few places where people meet for coffee in the mornings around here in town, and most of these guys are 75 plus, everybody else is working.
Right.
there's no place to meet up people. All the people, the kids, they're all at ball games or church. I mean, they don't have any free time. There's no community anymore, and that's the scary part about it. And if you put it online, then all the bots and the NSA is going to be reading everything you do. So no security there. So it's just something to think about. You guys out here, yeah, Bill. I know you are.
Yeah, I tell you too, Troy. Yeah, they use these social media platforms to indoctrinate kids because they just fill them full of this nonsense constantly. I mean, in what world would it be okay for a grown man to go into a girl's bathroom when your kids are in there?
Yeah,
I mean, in what planet does that even make sense to anybody? But they push that nonsense constantly.
yeah. Because they say you hate what you're a hater or what is it?
Transphobic or whatever.
Yeah, whatever
Oh,
this.
I'm a concerned daddy that's going to put a.
They call you a name. I mean,
Oh
call
yeah,
me a name all day long. Your
yeah.
dude's not coming in my bathroom with my kids. It's just not going to happen. I mean, Christy used to love to shop at Target. I'm like, nope, you ain't taking the children in there.
Nope.
Anything else, you're not taking the children there. They're not going to the bathrooms because they were the first one to say, yeah, men could go in the women's bathrooms. Like, what is
Yeah,
wrong with you people?
it's okay. It's all right.
It's slowly perverting every aspect of our lives. Uh, through the school systems, through golly, the library systems, through, I mean, there's even churches promoting this stuff.
Oh yeah.
Uh, it's just beyond my, I don't know how you can not see that unless you just are pretending, your church is just a social club. It's not actually preaching the word of God because there ain't nowhere in the Bible that permits any of that kind of stuff. Uh, we go Old Testament when we start talking about, you know, child rapists. We got a whole bunch of our leaders apparently been doing that stuff. We can't ever get the list out because everybody's in charge of releasing it's probably on the list. But well, I don't mean to discourage you. I just think that we need to think about that as men. Are we prepared to defend? Are we prepared? Are our families prepared to take that stand? Are they willing to make that kind of commitment? Are they willing to sacrifice everything? Uh, you have to be willing to sacrifice everything. You have to be willing to go to prison for the rest of your life, pretty much to defend yourself anymore. Uh, you may win in the courts about criminal charges, but then they come along and civilly sue you, and then they take everything you got on the backside. Uh, it's just the system is rigged, guys, and we have to decide: are we going to stand for it, or are we going to just keep incrementally backing off, backing off, keep drawing a new line in the sand, backing off, drawing a new line in the sand. They step over that. At what point, if you read David Hackett Fisher's book, Paul Revere's Ride, you'll see that the different strikes, he calls them strokes, I think, but the things that continually kept happening, if that were those guys today, they would done they would done had a revolution back in the 70s, man, 80s. They wouldn't have put up with all this stuff we put up the last 50 years. Uh, we just don't have those people anymore. We don't have that community anymore. We don't have that bond as a nation anymore. We've been so polarized on so many subjects, and they try to find any little thing. So try to find common ground with your neighbor, with your community, with your friends, uh, and get to know them, man. You gotta get off the internet. You gotta get off of Facebook. Turn off God and guns. Go next door and talk to your neighbor.
Easy, easy. Don't do that.
Let's
That's like
see.
I know all of my neighbors out here where I'm at, and
Some of that's Air Force stuff there. Whoa, what did I say?
I don't know, Air Force
He's
stuff.
he's hitting on you, Doug.
I'm sure.
Getting him riled up. All right, Brian. Sorry about that.
You know, I ain't gonna lie. What scares me worse than anything
Oh,
is
bathrooms.
uh, well. Oh yeah, bathrooms. No, negative, sir. Um,
Gosh,
what
darn.
bothers me is just waiting for when another attacker is going to try to shoot up something or blow up something, and we let these people run free in the country. And I'm people like Marco Rubio or they don't like Marco Rubio, but I like him personally because he's like, we don't have to take that. You can get out right now,
Yep.
and he'll send them home.
But again, politicians, they'll flip.
They will.
They'll flip. If somebody gives them more money, they'll flip. You can't trust them, man. There's no. If you're trusting the Republican Party, good luck. Because I trust them for a lot of years, sent them a lot of money, worked and did all kinds of stuff, and they backstab me every single time. Every time they had opportunity. Last night, 4 o'clock in the morning, four Republican senators voted to not do the Save Act. The Save Act is where they had to they had to provide evidence they were a citizen to vote. Nope. They said no. We're going to vote with all the Democrats that you don't have to prove that you're a citizen to vote. I ain't got no use for the politicians anymore.
Uh-uh.
I don't. There's the only thing that's going to save us is Jesus Christ,
Yeah.
and through community, man. We gotta build it at the local community. You gotta start here local. Uh, I remember back to when the farmer out there in was it Arizona, the uh, Bundys out
Oh
there
yeah.
when they come in
Yellow.
there, killed all their cattle and stuff, and man, people stood up. Yeah, Mitch is a piece of work. He's always been a piece of work.
Mitch don't even know where he's at 90% of the time.
Yeah, that's a whole nother matter. I haven't won Mitch in there for the last 25 years, 20 years at least. He's been backstabbing us forever. But and he probably isn't voting. Probably somebody voting for him. He's probably like Biden. He's on life support. But we're getting politics again. But you can't trust a politician. You just can't. You're gonna have to build your local community. You have to build your local guys and your buddies that got your back. I got some guys right here I know. I could call Steve. Steve would be here and as quick as he could get over here. But I got some guys I know would defend my family, and I would do the same. Go and defend their family, defend
Hmm.
their community if there was some kind of an incident going on. But do we communicate? Do we know them? Do we have their cell phone numbers? Are we able to just at the drop of a hat take off and go help our friends or our community when they need us? There's no mechanism for that. You can't put a Facebook page up, and say, "Hey, we're all going to be here." This and they'd have the FBI in there.
Taken down.
You gotta get to know your neighbors. You gotta get to know, and you gotta support one another, man. Because the government is not there for; they're there for control, and that's about it. And I know there's a lot of good guys. I know some good cops. I know some good sheriffs and things like that. But you gotta depend on your local community. You're not going to depend on your politicians. You can make a lot. I mean, make a lot of noise, make them hurt, make them hear you. But I'm telling you, at the end of the day, if their bacon gets fried and they'll drop the hat on you, they'll walk away and they'll turn it back on you. And they even go against you. So
They
uh,
will.
don't get up into this good guy, bad guy, cop, uh, two-party system thing. They are all for the most part. There's just a handful, man, that actually are true, actual believers that really believe in the Constitution and want to defend their country. The rest of them are there for the party and I don't know Epstein Allen, I guess. But that's about all my rant on that tonight. But get to know your neighbors, get to know your community. If you got a community meeting house or something like that, hey, just start offering classes. Hey, we're going to come and have a self defense class for the ladies, or we're going to have everybody come out here and we'll teach you. Anybody know how to shoot the guns, or come out and we'll teach you how to shoot guns. Come out there and teach them medical. Come out there and if you got a meeting house, you got a church will let you meet together and be prepared to defend your community because you're dependent on FEMA.
Oh,
We
for
saw what they did up in there in the mountains when all that rain came. They just sit up in an office there and say, "Come by and fill out forms." Yeah, I understand.
Bill, stay after him. I'll make him wave at me.
Yeah, I still wave at people.
I do too.
They can't see me half the time because the windows are so dark. But I like Nick. I wish he was back in the office. He should run for governor of Virginia. I think he would wipe the floor with them. I posted one of his articles today. Uh, but again, there's just not a lot of.
The sad thing is, Troy, there are not enough people, good people, that want to run for offices
Yep.
that have the money to pay to get elected, to pay to get themselves elected. Unless you get out and hit the street and, grassroots campaigning, but you got to have money
I
to
tell you
do.
the trouble. That's the trouble with Mitch. Mitch has got a war fund, man. He has got millions and millions and millions of dollars. And you come in there, if you're a conservative, libertarian type conservative person, he's going to run some rhino against you, and
Yep,
he's going to fund them to the hilt because he's in the two party. What do you call it? He's in the political party. It's not us. It's not for us. He's fighting. It's for his own pocket.
right. Yep,
And
yep,
that's the biggest problem. We got all these big war chests of the rhinos that can just keep good candidates out. I mean,
yep,
they're trying to take Thomas Massey out. I mean, even Trump is on that. But Thomas Massey is a true libertarian. He is not going to do something that's unconstitutional. He's not going to support unconstitutional things. He's going to hold people to the fire on, if they're doing something that's criminal or it looks bad, and people hate him for it because he holds them to the what they say they're going to do. Well, now I've got everybody's blood pressure up. Let's go ahead and move on down the line.
bring this
Appreciate
thing
you
home.
guys staying here with us, but if you ever have the opportunity, Paul Revere's Ride's a great book. Listen to it on audiobook or buy the hard copy. It's a massive book, but it's got so much history, so many cool stories about the Revolutionary War, uh, uh, people, the actors that were uh, instrumental in fighting back in those days, in their history of their families and what they went through, what they lost, what they were willing to sacrifice. Guys that just shot all the pieces, got back up, and kept on fighting. It's a really great book, and there's lots of great history books. But if you read that stuff, you realize that we don't have this kind of community that they had at that time. We don't have those bonds that those guys had, and I think we're so divided as a nation right now. We're ripe for the picking, man. I'm serious. We just are. If our military ever turned their backs on us, or got all deployed somewhere else and allowed someone to come in here and attack us, or all these sleeper cells that they've allowed to come in here throughout the Biden administration, we would have we'd have a fight. And
I
how
got a
long can
feeling.
you fight on your own, right?
I got a feeling we're going to have our hands full.
Yeah. I hope it's us and our children. I'm hoping we're still able
I
to
know.
to put a lick on. But that was pretty much it for the Liberty comments tonight. If you want to help the show, we've got a few patches left and stickers. I'll get some more on order. I have to get a hold of Jake, get some more of those on order. I've got an idea for a couple of shirts and things we might try to put together, and we might do a pre-sale so we can get a bigger enough order. We can get a discount or something like that. So
Hmm.
we'll pop that stuff up here in the future. We do have a subscribe star account. I've got a link here in the show notes if you care to want to go find us on there. It's God and Guns. Um, and then we've got a couple more there, and then Armed Citizen.
Yep. Got power tack lights. Hey, I run power tack lights when I'm hunting and I have the flashlights, and they're just great lights. If you're looking for a good light, go check them out, powertac.com, and use the promo code God and Guns. Get you a 30% off of their items out there. But if they're having a bigger sale, you're not going to get it. But hey, choose the better of the two options. Also, crossbreed holsters. Troy carries in a crossbreed. I carry a crossbreed, and those folks are great people. They got great holsters, and if you're carrying a gun and it's uncomfortable, let's face it, you're not going to carry it. The
Yep.
crossbreed makes it comfortable, and I carry those jokers all the time. Use our promo code God and Guns and get 10% off at Crossbreed, and go check them out at crossbreedholsters.com. All right, Armed Citizen. Troy, I thought this one was kind of ironic, but you this came from California in downtown Los Angeles, apparently. Two minor celebrities found an alleged trespasser prowling on their Los Angeles grounds shortly after midnight on April 17th. Barbara Palvin, a model, called 911 and reported a creepy guy as her husband, actor Dylan Sprouse, successfully held the man at gunpoint until the police arrived. The suspect was arrested for outstanding warrants, though the couple apparently did not choose to press charges for trespassing. It wouldn't matter if he did anyway, but because he would just get out 5 minutes later anyway. But I just found it odd that an actor and his celeb wife living in Los Angeles had a gun to hold anybody with to start with.
Well, more of them do than you think. A lot of those actors get attacked a lot.
They do.
So there's a lot of weird people out there. That,
Still in California, though.
Brian's comment here. Uh, Thanks for the comment there. Always do a show. Yeah, we'll pray for your wife, Bill. Let's go and do that right now. I always ask you to be with Bill's wife. I don't know what the situation is, but you do. I always ask you help her in whatever situation it is, that you would restore her and that you would make her whole and that you would give her hope in you and that, Lord, she would know whatever healing or need she has will be met by you. Lord, thank you for this time. In Jesus' name I pray. Amen.
Amen.
All right, Bill. Let us know how she's doing and we'll try to keep touch. All right, let's see. What does that bring us down to? I guess we're down to the wrap up.
Wrap it up.
Hey, a little long tonight. We started a little late, so it won't be that long, maybe. Send your feedback to guidinggunstv at gmail.com. Please tell your friends about us, like us on Facebook, leave us an iTunes review. Our Facebook page is facebook.com/Guiding podcast. Subscribe YouTube. I think I already said that. Follow us on Instagram. We're live on Instagram. We're also on Rumble. We're live over there right now as well, or I think we are. And our website don't work. So until next time, Doug, have a blessed week.
And keep your guns close, but keep your Bibles closer, especially in these times. Have a good night.
Good night, everybody. Talk to you all soon.